Hey guys, happy Monday. Hello John John, Jim, Warnaki, Song Funk. My dog is back to the sofa right now. Hey Karmar, what is up? Santro Pedro. Many people here. Can we see an anti-chess game to get the ball rolling? No. Hello Murphy. Nope. No, not anti-chess because this is King of the Hill week. This week is going to be devoted to King of the Hill. But today it's endgame session. So my idea for today was to do a short endgame session on a topic that was brought the other day during Sludge's stream, which is Queen versus Pawn. And after that, my idea is to switch to King of the Hill and create a King of the Hill arena to start the week. That's my plan for today. So here we go. We're going to see some positions of Queen versus Pawn, theoretical positions. We're going to study them. Then I will share the study as usual with you. And my plan is in 1 hour or so to switch to King of the Hill. If we finish too fast with this Queen versus Pawn, which could be the case, we might do some random domination puzzles because I have the book here and I know you like them. Anyway, I'm going to go through this study. I think I've shown Queen versus Pawn a couple of times. You've lost too many endgames. Oh, how many of them have you done from this book? I think on the stream I've done around 60. But I'm also doing them in order in my spare time, which is not a lot. So I'm doing them in order from the beginning, and I did around 50. So yeah, around 60 throughout all the book, but the first 50 of the book I've done on my own. So I guess in some years I can finish the book. Yes, Lomka. Yes, I know. That's one of my reference books. I think this book specifically covers almost anything you must know on Queen versus Pawn, and this study will contain more or less the same as this book, except I added a couple more of cases that they're not in the book. And we're gonna go through them. This is really an easy game, and a really easy endgame. Most people know they master it because Queen versus Pawn is so easy. Like the Queen is so powerful, but there are some tricks that we should know for both sides, for the defending side and for the winning side. As you probably know, there are some hopes for the defender when you have a rook's pawn or a bishop's pawn, because there are some stalemate tricks. So we're gonna go through them, but first let's consider one easy winning case, which is when the pawn is not a rook's pawn or a bishop's pawn, as this position we're seeing here. Black is about to promote, but it's white to move. And in this position, even though this king is far away from helping, this position is a win for white because there are no stalemate tricks. So this first example will allow us to remember, probably for most of you that already know it, to remember the winning procedure. Basically, it's as easy as you check that king all the time until you push him in front of the pawn. And then you have a free tempo to bring your king closer. So our big plan is to bring the king closer, but for that, first we need to check the other king a lot of times until we force him in front of the pawn. Hello, No Castling, welcome. Today we're going back to our theoretical endgame sessions. This is going to be a short one because the topic is very short. It's queen versus pawn. So I expect to be done in less than an hour, and then we move on to what this week is about, King of the Hill. All right. You still like my accent? Nice. Okay, so we start checking the king, and basically there are many ways to win, but basically any check wins. If you think, oh, why don't I pin the pawn so that he cannot, that also wins. I mean, everything wins. So there are many ways to win in this position. You just keep checking. Usually you want to check somewhere around here, in front of... I tend to use these squares, this H. I imagine this geometrical H composed of those 7 squares, and I try to do everything from there, like the checks, the pins, but queen d2 also works. I mean, there are many ways, as I say. So let's see, for example, one winning line, queen f4 check. Of course, the moment he walks in front of the pawn, we can already play king g7. So he's not going to do that. He's going to try to keep the king closer, but not in front. So this is probably an important theme to know if it's the first time you ever see this endgame, which probably not the case for most of you. Here you play queen g3, important move. You threaten the pawn, you stop promotion, and you do it not from here, but from here, removing this square from the king, so you force the king to f1. And now king f1 is only move, and then you can check from here, still attacking the pawn. So this is how you push the king in front of the pawn. Now the only legal move that doesn't lose the pawn is king g1, and now we bring the king. Black has 2 legal moves, but he's not going to walk into a pin, because then we can keep bringing the king, so he goes to h2. What do? We have many options. We can pin on f2, that's probably the best, or we can start checking again until we manage to push him in front. But yeah, queen f2. Queen f2 is nice, is the best in this position, because if the king goes up, we go king g1, queen g1, and there's no more problem. We can bring the king as close as we want. So of course he's forced to go king h1, but the problem with that is we check on the h file, pushing him again in front of the pawn. So we bring our king closer, and now we repeat king f1 only move, and we repeat on the other side what we've done before: queen f4, king e2, queen g3, king f1, queen f3, front of the pawn. One step closer. Again, he doesn't want to walk into a pin, so king h2. And now we could do the same, queen f2 and queen h4, and bring the king closer. But for example, in this position, our king is close enough to start thinking about checkmates. For example, now a very nice move, but yeah, queen f2 wins, but a very nice move is what Slomka is saying in the chat, king h4, and we prevent the promotion because of queen h3 checkmate, which is nice. On the other hand, if he goes back, he walks into a pin, we go king h3 is checkmate next move. If he goes to g1 again, king h3 is checkmate next move. So probably his best chance is to promote to a knight, but of course we're going to win that knight after queen f2 check, for example, king h1 forced, king g3, threatening queen g2 and queen h2. He can give the knight away with knight e2, but of course it's going to be checkmate in 2. Such a flex to allow to promote. Yeah, we're going to see several examples of this allow promotion trick. In some of them, it's the only way to win. In this case, you can win also with queen f2, queen h4, and bring the king closer. many ways to win in a position where the pawn is not a rook or bishop pawn. So this was the winning procedure. Check, 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 check. When he's in front of the pawn, you bring your king one step closer. Check, 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 check. You bring the king. There's one exception that is very nice because I didn't know it. Well, not one. There are many, but this example is specifically from the book, from de la Villa's book. The next one is when the strong king blocks the queen. And in this position, funny as it is, it's white to move, but white cannot win because there are no checks. In this position we cannot start checking the black's king because of the position of this king here. And there's also no way to pin the pawn, by the way, which would be another way. So no checks, no way to pin the pawn. This is a draw because there's no way to stop e1 equals queen in the next move. So this is important from a theoretical point of view. When we're calculating to simplify to an endgame like this, we need to be sure that our queen is not blocked and that the endgame is winning, for sure. It would be a pity to calculate something and say, oh, and I have a queen, he has a pawn that is not a rook's pawn or a bishop's pawn on the 7th rank, that's a win. No, be careful. Some positions are not winning when the queen is blocked by the own king. Okay, let's move on to what is really interesting from this topic, which is rook's pawns and bishop's pawn. Let's start with the easy one, the rook's pawn. I decided to do this topic, by the way, because the other day when I rated Sludgy, he was analyzing a game he just played, and we're going to show that position later. We're going to finish this session with that position. He had an endgame against a bishop's pawn, queen against bishop's pawn, and there was one position when there was only one winning move, and it was a tricky one, or at least not easy to find. But with the examples we're going to see today, I'm sure all of you will be able to solve that one. So first we're going to see rook's pawn, and then we're going to see the examples of bishop's pawn, and then we're going to see Sludgy's game, that part of the game. Okay, this position is a draw. It is a draw because it's white to move. Obviously, if it was black to move, black could play queen h8. I overestimate your learning progress. I hope not. Okay, if it was black to move, black would put the queen in front of the pawn and then slowly bring the king, because yeah, anytime you can put the queen in front of the pawn, there's no way for the weak side to promote it. But it's white to move, and white has a draw in hand. Of course, the only move that draws is the one that prevents queen h8, so the first move is easy. And now let's see what can black do. It's a position like before. The king is not helping. Is there a way to check, push the king in front of the pawn and then bring the king? Let's see. Because if we don't check, he's going to promote. So queen check, king g7, queen check, king f7. Of course, he doesn't want to step in front of the pawn if we don't force him. So we do the same as we did previously. Queen h6, king g8 only move, queen g6 check, king h8 exclam. And now we cannot really bring the king because it would be a stalemate. Oops. So we cannot force the king in front of the pawn to be able to bring our king. Therefore, there's no way to win this. Basically, there's no way to win this, because if the king is not forced in front of the pawn is going to be threatening to promote every time. So this position, there's no way to win. If we do any king move, it's a stalemate. If we bring the queen out, he will go to b1 and threaten to sorry, g8, and threaten to promote again. Only chance to win is this is if white blunders. Yeah, if we ever attack the pawn and the king goes away. Yeah, of course. There's always chance to blunder, but it honestly is a very easy position, and especially if he got to this point of bringing the king to the corner, it will be very strange to see a blunder when there's nothing else in the position. I mean, he just needs to keep doing the same over and over. As we'll see with the bishop's pawn, there are some tricks that you can try to confuse the defending side, and we're gonna see them. You're the best stalemater on Lichess. Now, the best stalemater is Quartillo. Quartillo makes beautiful stalemates, with the winning side though. Okay, let's move on to to another example. So, if there are stalemate tricks to save the position with a rook's pawn, the question is, when can we win? Because there are some winning positions. Of course, we need the king. We need the king closer, because if the king is far away, we don't have the tempi to bring the king. The question is, when is it close enough? And there are some, I really like how De La Villa does in the book, because there are some other books where you see winning zones in the board, and I mean, I might study them, but then I don't remember them, because it's hard to remember zones of, a bunch of squares in the board. You understand they need to be close, but how much close? So because of the winning methods involving this king being on g6 or defending f7, De La Villa makes a very easy rule to remember, which is remember these key squares, and the strong side wins if the king is 2 steps away from them, or 1, but at most 2 steps away from one of these key squares, then that's a win. And then you don't need to remember all the area, you can just calculate it on the board. For example, 2 steps away from g6 would be this would be closer, this, and if we go 2 steps away from f7, we also have this. So this would be the winning area, but it's hard to remember the area. It's much easier to have a couple of key squares and remember that your king has to be 2 steps away from them. Okay, so now this king is really close. It's actually 2 steps from here, and also from the other key square. Hey, bushed. So this is a win. How do we win? Well, there are many checks that win here. For some reason I have the line, because I copied the line from the book, queen d7 check, but I think queen e7 is better. Let's go with this line, then I might change the study a bit. Queen e7 check. Now this is a critical moment. The king must go to g8, because if the king goes to g6, then we have queen f8, and there's no way to stop queen h8. So after this check, the king needs to go back, and then what do? How can we win here very easily? There are actually 2 ways, 2 easy ways to win here. 3, I would say 3 easy ways to win. Bring the king closer? Yes, exactly. Bring the king closer to one of those key squares. You might be concerned that if you go to f6, he will promote with check. but that wins also. So king f6 wins because after promotion with check, we play the beautiful king g6, going to this key square g6. And this is a position that you should, if there's one position to remember in these endgames, is queen versus pawn, is this one. This is winning. You have the queen on the 7th rank, the kings in front of each other, and the queen closer to his own king cannot do anything to stop all the checkmate threats. So this is winning. I would say this is checkmate in the next move, except that it exists the queen h5 move, but obviously it's winning. Yeah, but also king f5 with the same idea. He promotes, you go to g6. And also, let's see how the other key square works. Also f7. If you go to king a6, protecting f7, that also stops the promotion because of queen f7 checkmate. So all those moves, king a6, king f6, king f5, all of those win easily. Of course, you can keep checking and move around and still win, but so there are other winning moves, but this would be the shortest that make progress. All right. The book de la Villa does queen d7 check and allowing king g6, and then after a couple of checks he goes to this position with queen e7 and then king g8, etc. Yeah. Okay. So, rule to remember, we need to be 2 steps away from one of those key squares, and we have this trick with the queen on the 7th rank, the king in front of the other king, where even though it's our opponent's turn to move, he cannot stop all the checkmates. Let's see another example of this when now we have access to only one of those key squares, not to the other. How would we win here? I mean, we're 2 steps away from f7, but we're 3 steps away with the king from g6. So we're not going to get the king g6 construction with the king on g8. How would we win here? Hey Bushed, I'm not running Twitch on Red Hat, but John came in with the big hat command and it said Red Hat, so I had to use my Red Hat. Okay, so in this position there are again many ways to win. We can keep checking and maneuver around and then maybe king e6 or king e7, but it turns out that king e7 immediately works. Hey Magic Duck, what is up? You would check, yeah, checking is right, queen e7, queen e5, queen g4, queen d7, all of those checks work. So the good thing with these endgames is it doesn't really change the character of the position. It's really, really very exceptional, the case where you do a check and that's wrong. All the checks here are winning, so you can move around a bit and maybe later bring the king to e6 or e7 to control the f7 square. But yeah, it turns out that in this position king e7 immediately is winning, and it's the shortest path to victory in this case. Morphy suggesting queen e7, king e6 makes a lot of sense, because as we've seen in the previous example, if the king goes up, we go queen f8. So now after king g8, we go king e6. And again, promotion allows queen f7 checkmate, so he has to promote to a knight, and we're going to win here, king f6. And it's going to be checkmate into after knight f7. All right. So that's one way to win. Hey, Sefa. King e7 also wins, which is interesting because you usually don't think that you can promote here when queen f7 is not a checkmate. I mean, the king is not on g8. But here, after promotion, we have queen g4 check. And we know that if king h7, we have king f7. So he can try this, but since he needs to defend the queen, sorry, we're gonna get to this position. Again, kings in front of each other, queen cutting. And yeah, that's another way to win. By corpse, B corpse. Ay. Keep it nice, please. Yeah, that wasn't funny. Okay, let me. I think that's pretty much everything we need to know how to about the rook's pawn. So let's move on to the bishop's pawn. That it has very similar stalemate tricks as the rook's pawn, but it's a bit more complicated than that. So again, if the king is too far away, like this case, this is a draw, but the defending side has to be careful. I always wonder whoever faces this position, certainly not me. Like, you don't get to endgames in your games? So in this position, white plays and wins. Of course, if black plays, it's it would be easy to win many ways, but the simplest probably queen a3 to f8. But it's white to play, and this is a draw. You're drinking cola again, Sefa. Be careful with that. It's probably not about those positions, it's more about the concepts. Yeah. I hear some people say, I don't study endgames because I never get to an endgame, things like that. And then what really happens is because they don't study endgames. So, I mean, what's the cause and what's the effect? Some people they think, no, I don't study endgames because I don't get to play endgames. But the thing is, because they don't study endgames, when they're in a game situation and they need to either go for a crazy attack and see if it works, or slowly maneuver and simplify to an endgame, they avoid entering an endgame. So I think those things go together. Sometimes you, even in an unconscious way, you avoid those things that you don't know or that you don't want to play, and then you make the excuse that no, you never get them. Hello, Orsito, welcome. Okay, so how is this a draw? Well, it's going to be very similar to the case of the rook's pawn. Actually, the key move will be the same. We're going to put the king in the corner, and there will be a stalemate trick there. But it's important that this king is in time to get there, and right now it is. Let's start doing some checks, our usual procedure. Now, king f8 would be a draw, but we want to be as resilient as we want, and you know, put as many obstacles as we can. So the queen wants this king in front of the pawn to be able to bring the king, so he will do it. He will keep checking. No, he will do this move actually to force this, and then check, and then here, and yay, we can bring the king closer. Well, Problem is, now the king gets to the right side of the pawn, the so-called right side of the pawn, and we're going to see this in many examples, in a couple of examples after this one. The right side of the pawn is the one that, you know, towards the corner of the board, because that's where our stalemate trick works. So king g7, and now we do the usual pinning, checking, queen f6, king g8, queen g6, and this is the typical position where we force the king in front of the pawn, except, so sometimes the right side is on the left. Yes. Yes, Slanka, good one. Thanks, Fang Fang. Yeah, it was so cool to do that with Karmar. So yeah, if this was any other pawn in the board, we would go in front of it. I mean, except the bishop, the other bishop's pawn. But in this case, we go to the corner, and no, black cannot take the pawn. It would be a stalemate. So the same thing happens as it happened with the rook pawn. If there's no way to push the king in front of the pawn so that we can get our king closer, our king is never going to get closer than this. So this position is a draw. There's no way for this king to get any closer than this, because we're threatening to promote, basically. So yeah. All right, so what about queen f6? We've been in that position before. If he keeps with queen f6 check, king g8, and he's still threatening to promote. So basically, the thing is, there's no way to force this king to be on f8 anymore. It was once on f8 in this whole puzzle, because it was the way to get to the right side. Around here, the king went into f8 to go to the right side, but and that's when we can get our king one step closer. But after that, there's no way to force him back to f8, never ever again, because the moment we go queen g6 check, he goes to the corner. And then we can try again, queen g6, king g8, but the moment you go queen g6, he goes to the corner. So there's no way to force the king back to f8 so that we can get closer, of course, unless he blunders. So it's a draw. And okay, so now that we know the resource for the defender, which is king to the corner and the pawn cannot be taken, very doubtful. Let's see some winning positions where this king is a bit closer than in this example. All right, so again, I'm going to use the concepts of De la Villa about key squares, and with the bishop's pawn, if we have two cases, king on the right side, as we said, king on the wrong side. With the king on the right side, that's the toughest for the attacker. The king needs to be really close to be able to win. Specifically, it has to be one step away from any of the key squares. In this case, the key squares are g6 and e7. G6 is the key square mostly always, because then we have this king g6 final trick, as we've seen already in one example. It will happen the same here. And the e7 square in this case is a key square, because if the king can access that, king in the corner will not help for a stalemate trick if our king is protecting the promotion. So those are the key squares, e7 and g6 in this case. So in this example, obviously our king is going to go to g6 at some point. How to start? Well, the checks work, queen a1, queen b2, but the easiest in this example is to play queen a7, As usual, moves to consider in these endgames are checks and pings. In this case, the ping works charmingly because our queen is already in the 7th rank, which is nice because we want to play king g6. So here, against both king g8 and king h8, the answer is the same, king g6, and we win. Yeah, he even watched some of it. Yeah, I know. We're chatting while Professor Pepe is holding his lesson. I hope there won't be a test. Oh, there will be a test, Orcito. Be ready for that. Okay, so after king g6, as we know, white wins because we're threatening the pawn. I mean, king g8, we have checkmate in 2. If he promotes, we have queen h7, checkmate. If he promotes to a knight, we go king h6, etc. Knight e6, queen f7, and then checkmate. Okay, so important to know that about the key squares. The other example, when we have access to e7, it's maybe easier. This one. Again, many ways to win. The easiest in this case is queen g2 check. And yeah, basically the problem is that now he's forced in front of the pawn because any other move we go king e7 and we're gonna control the promotion and win the pawn. Against king h8, king h7, king h6, we go king e7. Against king f6, I didn't consider that one. We keep checking. And now, again, the key square enough to ensure that we have everything under control and there's no promotion, never ever. So, after this check, his best try is king f8, but it's not no best try at all. And now there are like maybe 20 different moves that win. The simplest are queen g5 and queen g4 because it's checkmate in the next move. I was listening chat and someone said promote to a knight and I can. Yeah, we'll see some under promotions in the next examples. There are not a lot of examples left though. We're almost finishing with the theory. Let's see maybe now the trickiest position, which is when the king is on the wrong side. With the king on the wrong side, we should have more chances to win, and we have. So the winning side has to have the king not 1 but 2 steps away from the key squares in this case. And in this case, the key squares are g6 and d7. And as I'll show in a further example, I will add also the e6 square as a key square. Basically, the 3 squares, 1 knight jump away from the promotion. In the book, Jesus de la Villa gives g6 and d7 only, but I will show one example later when e6 is the only key square that we can use. So we'll see how, if you are 2 squares away from any of these 3 key squares, you can win. Orcito doesn't detract from the fact that I hate tests, any test with a passion. Cool. So is the book wrong? No, I mean what the book says is right, but there's just another example that we could consider that it's not covered in the book, simply because there are some positions where you can still win despite not being 2 steps away from g6 and d7. For example, and we'll see that example later, but when the king is on c4, if your king is on c4, you are 3 steps away from d7 and 4 from g6, but only 2 from e6. So in some positions you can win with the king on c4, and we will see one of those positions later. I wouldn't say that the book is wrong. I just had the luck to discover that by studying precisely Sludge's game the other day. I discovered an example where you can win with the king here. So we'll see that in a couple of chapters, or 4 or 5 chapters. So let's first continue with this, with the explanation on how to win in this case. It's going to be very similar to what we already saw, because once you know that this is winning because you're 2 steps closer, then the method is going to be very similar to what we already know. We're going to be accessing to g6. So we'll start with some checks. In this case, again, all the checks win. So let's consider this one. King e8, queen b8 check, king e7, queen e5 check. And now, of course, he never wants to go in front of the pawn, because then we would even be closer. So in these cases, always the most resilient approach is to go to the other side. I mean, to get away from the pawn, but keep it close enough to be defending it back on the next move. All right, what do we do? The procedure we know, to push him in front of the pawn as usual, and then we get the king closer. And then after king g7, we pin the pawn, and then no matter where it goes, the king, we go king g6, and it's the same trick we've seen over and over and over, at least a couple of times already before. So yeah, this position, completely winning, under promoting to a knight doesn't help. King h6, knight e6, and queen a7 or something. Okay, so where can I find the songs of you, Pepe? What do you mean, Stefan? I hope there are no songs of me. There's a nice trick here, though, and I added that line here, which is funny. If we do queen d7 instead, my playlist. I have some playlists, but I don't have a playlist for the stream. What I usually do is just search on YouTube one song, and then from there YouTube keeps suggesting songs that YouTube knows I like. So yeah, I don't have a playlist for the stream, sorry. I could do it, but in general I like YouTube's suggestions. YouTube knows me well. Knows me probably better than what I would do if I create a playlist. I will probably forget some songs that that YouTube suggests. But you usually song the same. Yeah, the songs are usually the same. So maybe I can have a way to share my history, or my YouTube history. So yeah, I should create the playlist one day. Okay, I wanted to show a trick here. Queen d7, white can try king h8. And how would you win here? This is a test, guys. How do you win in this position? Play YouTube in a stream. Only that, only playing YouTube. This is a draw. No, it's not a draw. It's not a draw, Slonka. King f6, says Orcito. King f6 does not win. Queen e7, says Warnaki. Queen e7 is a good move, and it wins. Jim says king h6. King h6 does not win. So the thing here is, white is trying the drawing resource. Queen d8 check, says Karmar. Queen d8 check wins. Yeah, so we've seen one, two, yeah, two winning moves and two losing moves already. I mean, not losing, drawing, two drawing moves. So queen e7 and queen d8 wins, queen f5 wins, queen c8 wins, queen h3 wins. I mean, there are many ways to win, but king f6, king g6, and king h6 do not win. So that's the trick here. King h8 and maybe black blunders here. Yeah, the problem with king f6 and king h6 is that white simply promotes with check, and by promoting with check avoids any checkmate ideas. And our usual king g6, the usual trick we do in these positions, king g6, because if he promotes we have queen h7 checkmate, it does not work here because our queen is on d7, so he under promotes to a knight. No. That would be so unfortunate, because that's the trick we're looking forward to do. And if he goes queen e7, we can do it here. So that's the thing we're we're actually looking for to play. So let's do it right. Don't do it like this and this. That would be unfortunate. But yeah, instead of that, queen e7, and we repeat the same position as. Basically, you need to maneuver a bit more, but you will get the win. So in this case, queen e7 better than queen d7 to avoid that trick. All right. Let's show another scenario. So this was with the king on the wrong side of the pawn, and our king 2 steps closer to the key square g6. Now we're going to see one example with the king closer 2 steps to the d7 square, and we'll see how that is. This is the position. No one will do queen d7. Yeah, you know, the thing with these endgames is they're similar to each other, and one step forward or one step backwards is the difference between winning and drawing. And in some positions, we'll see how queen d7 would be an interesting move to do, or queen a2 on the other side, to try to trick our opponent when you're already in a drawing position. So yeah, some moves are not natural, but in some endgames they appear, so then you might be confused and do it in other endgames. Anyway, we have now this position, and we know, applying the rules we've said about the key squares, we know that we're 2 steps away from d7, so this should be winning. How do we win? Well, there are three winning moves here, but one of them is much easier than the others. Who can tell me a winning move here? And I'll be back in a minute. Okay, Slonka says we don't want Orsito remains silent. You also don't like tests. Karmar says queen e2 check. Slonka says queen a3 check. And Jim says queen a7 check. And those 3 moves are winning. Those 3 checks are winning. The 3 checks in the position are winning. And as we said, in these endgames, it's very rare that a check is not winning. So checks and pings are the moves we're looking for. There's no way to pin the pawn in this position, so those are the 3 winning moves. But Slonka is saying something very important. We don't want to allow him to the right side, so queen a3 is much easier. because queen a3 prevents king f8. And it also prevents king f6 for what is what, because king f6 we just go queen f8. So queen a3 basically forces king e8 and keeps the king in the wrong side of the pawn. So yes, we need to check because otherwise he will promote. Yes, that's right. What is the problem with the other checks? The other checks also win, but then you need to be precise. For example, after queen a7 check, he can try to walk to the right side, and now in this position there's only one move to win. And it's not an easy one. At least not a natural one, because hey Chester King, welcome. Because we're so used to the winning procedure of we keep checking, and when he's in front of the pawn, we take the tempo to bring our king closer. Now bringing our king closer will not help because he's going to be on the right side, and then we're away from the key squares in that case. If we remember, the key squares now are these ones, but if he's on the right side, the key squares are these ones, and our king will not be close enough. So yes, many people are already saying in the chat, the only move to win here is queen g1, keeping him away from the right side of the pawn, and only then we're gonna get our king closer. So there's nothing wrong with this, with queen a7 check, but it requires us to be precise. So it's more hard. Yeah, it's more chances to give it away, the win. But of course, if you play queen g1, nothing wrong with that. You're gonna win. And then the queen e2 check is also similar, because he can try queen f6 or queen f8, and yeah, the stuff is tricky, exactly. And for example, after king f8, there are only two moves to win. And after you saw queen g1, I'm sure you will know what are the two moves that win in this position. Queen g2 and queen g4, exactly, Karmar. Yeah. The moves that keep the king away from the right side. Yes. So maybe you find yourself in a position like that, and you need to find that move that cuts the king. But if you can avoid it, it's much easier to play queen a3 check, keep him away from that side. And now, for example, we can check on a8 because now there's no way to go to the right side. And now this is a very interesting moment. Queen e4 check. Again, other checks win, but queen a7 or queen a3, queen a3 would be just repeating, and queen a7 would be after king f8, queen g1, as we saw. But there's this queen e4 check, and this is a nice position to remember. In this position, we allow king f8, but we allow king f8 only when we have access to the h7 and g6 squares. So again, we're gonna keep the king away from the right side by cutting him with the queen. But from all those ways we've seen, g1, g2, g4, h7 is the easiest, because we're gonna have our queen already in the 7th rank, ready for the checkmate tricks when we allow promotion. Hello Fonsakuri, what is up? And Biwitz, good evening. So now after king f8, we play queen again. Again, this is tricky, because when the king is in front of the pawn, we're used to bring our king, but our king is 2 steps away from this, but we need the checkmate tricks. Hey Joey! You're here. I think we're gonna finish the theory session in about maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and the idea was to move on to King of the Hill. So, Queen h7, exclam. Hey Kuro, what is up? And now this is the perfect setup. We cut the king is gonna be move to the wrong side. Our king is 2 steps away from d7. We're gonna have a checkmate trick on d7. Joy Trice is not an imposter, guys. As you can see, she is a mod. So be careful. Be careful what you say. Don't bully. Fonsa, what is that? Okay. Sorry. If she wasn't a mod, I would say she's an imposter. Yeah, that's why I made her a mod. It's Urban Dictionary. Okay, yeah, I know, but okay, never mind. All right, so let's see how this goes. From the 2 legal moves, of course, White will not walk into a pin to give us an extra tempo. So he goes to e8, and now, what's the winning move here, guys? You all know that, but by this moment, right? King c6, exactly. Chester king. Yes, Karmar. King c6. Because now, if White promotes to something that is not a knight, we have the Queen d7 checkmate. The Queen d7 checkmate trick. And yeah, any other promotion. That was not the sludgy position, Jim, but was very, very similar. Very similar. So important to remember this idea, and as you saw from this, the lines we've seen here of Queen a7, Queen g1, Queen e2, Queen g4, Queen g2, and even this line with Queen h7, I think this is the trickiest of all the cases we've seen, of the winning cases. This is the trickiest. The king on the wrong side, but we need to cut that king to keep it away from the right side. C1 knight and black plays pre-move Queen e2. Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to include in this study a common trick that is also in the book by De La Villa, which is in a drawing position. There's a way that you can try to trick your opponents and they might fall for it. So there's a trick that they shouldn't fall for it when they are in the right side like this, and then we're gonna see another trick when they are in the wrong side that is a bit easier to fall for. It's the same trick actually, but on the wrong side they require more precision to defend. Book name is 100 Endgames You Must Know. And in this study I included, I think, more or less all the positions of the chapter of Queen versus Pawn, and maybe 3 or 4 more of my own. Okay. So this position, it is white to move, obviously, because if it's black to move, black promotes. So it's white to move, and as we know, the position is a draw. Can you explain your shirt? I think I explained it already before. It's Google Pomodoro technique, Kudo. Technique. Yeah. I love my time. But it's a tomato, not a heart. So I Pomodoro my time, actually. Pomodoro technique, guys. Just Google that. I would say it's a very old time management technique. I think my t-shirt is probably like 12 years old and I still keep using the Pomodoro technique when I work every day. Actually, I have here my egg timer that I use for that. I have it here and I use it every time. So yeah. Hey Ingle, what is up? Just a time management technique. All right. This position, black to move. If we remember, the key squares are those in red, and for the winning side, the king should be one step away from those. It is 2 steps away from b3 and 3 from d2, so this position is a draw, as we know. Yes, Bobby, queen versus pawn. So this position is a draw, no question about it. Now, white can try to trick black. Therefore, there's a trick that we should know, especially if we're black in this position. White will not play a move like queen e1, or we want king of the hill. Yes, but we need to finish this before. So, king a1. But Bobby, if black plays, black promotes. Of course, black is not playing here. Black will not play king a1. Okay. Fine. Okay, so let's finish this because I want to reach. It's 4 chapters left, but it's going to be very fast. Maybe we can do it in 5 minutes if I don't get too distracted. Queen b3, king a1 is a trick. Yeah, but we've already seen that, Bobby, in the previous examples. Sorry if I'm being rude, but we've seen all the tricks, the defending resources, the attacking resources when you're winning. So this is getting violent. Sorry, Whiskey. Good night. So I'm gonna focus just on showing this small trick in a winning position, and we're gonna see Sludgy's position, and then we're done, and we move to king of the hill, and we create an arena, and we play king of the hill. We start the king of the hill week. So what's the trick here? If we start with queen b3 check, of course he's gonna play king a1. Now, for example, queen e3, controlling c1. So first of all, move around a little, confuse your opponent. King b1, queen e4 pinning, king b2, and this is the critical position. Queen e2 sets the trick up. I want to study endgames, not play king of the hill. Sorry, Bobby. You should have been here 1 hour earlier when we started, and I'm sorry for you, but we're finishing this. So in this position, there's only one move that draws, and it's obviously king a1, as Bobby is saying in the chat. King a1, it's an obvious draw. And if we need to remember one rule as the defending side, we should always move the king to the corner when we can. And in this position, you can. so that's the easy way to make a draw in most positions, and in this position is the only way to make a draw, because the natural move, king b1, is a blunder. So this is the trick to remember. King c4, now we can promote to a queen, king b3, and we all know already this position we've seen before. This is winning for white. So don't fall for that. Good night, John. There's also this king c3 move that you would say no one would play king c3. Well, you would play king c3 if you see the next chapter. You would consider it at least. But yeah, it's not a natural move, and it loses after queen e5 check when the king is forced to the wrong side of the pawn. Okay, in the study I included some lines. We're not gonna see it because we want to move on. So let's see the trick on the other side and how it's even more difficult to defend. Queen b2, king d1, we repeat a couple of times, and then we set up the trick with queen a2 instead of queen b2, queen a2, because we want to set up the same trick. And in this position, there's only one move. There's only one move to make a draw. Which one? Because we're on the wrong side, we don't have a stalemate trick as we had before. So what is the only move to draw here? And yeah, Bob is saying king c3. King c3, which is not obvious at all. King c3 is the only move to draw. And then after queen a1, we're just repeating. So king c1 loses, Cephas king c1. The problem with king c1 is the problem we've seen in many of these endgames. We're just stepping in front of the pawn, so we give this king the chance to move forward, and we're going to be checkmated. Maybe the trickiest or the most natural would be to play king d1. Yeah, king c1 is not is not very natural. The problem here is we have the same problem, the same checkmate trick as we know with king here. Okay, let's move on. Now we're about to finish. Today Matt Bogula was streaming, and in one of his games he said, "I recently heard the word blunderful somewhere." That's what this game was. I wonder where he heard about that. Okay. So this position, important one, guys. Because as I said before, Jesus de la Villa said about the key squares g6 and d7, and it's in the book it's not covering the e6, which I think it's also a key square. We're going to see in this example. It's black to move and win. And I will not ask you. I'm gonna I'm gonna keep telling. According to de la Villa, and he's right, he's totally right, in this position we're not 2 steps away from one of the key squares, but the defending king is in front of the pawn, so we have one free tempo. So according to de la Villa's knowledge, the winning moves here are the ones that get us 2 steps closer to one of the key squares. In this case, we can only reach d7, and any of these moves, king b5, king c5, or king d5, would be winning. Because then after white moves the king, we're 2 steps away from d7. It's a winning position. Especially because the king is going to be on the wrong side. Now, as Morph is saying in the chat, there's a 4th winning move. So in this position, there are only four winning moves. King b5, king c5, king d5, and queen h7. Queen h7 is also a winning move. And it's only because this is also a key square on e6. Queen h7. And now despite, well, he's going to play king e8, obviously, not walking into a pin. And now, despite the fact that we're not 2 squares away from here or from here, we win because we're 2 squares away from e6. So king d5 and king e6. And this is a winning position. And this, my friends, is an important knowledge for Slatgy's endgame that we've seen the other day when, right when I rated him, he was in a very similar position to this one. And there are 4 winning moves here: king b5, king c5, king d5, and queen h7. Now if we moved to the Slatgy's position, it was this one. White just played h4, attacking the queen on g6. That happened during his game, and I have the game linked from the study also if you're curious. And in this position, there's only one move to win. And if this pawn didn't exist, there would be those 4 moves to win. The fact that the pawn is attacking the queen makes the king moves not winning. So the only move to win here was queen h7. Really beautiful position with a beautiful move to win here. Not so hard, says Bobby. I didn't say that it is hard. I think it's beautiful, and I think for many people that don't even study these endgames, it would be actually hard. I think, well, Sludgy actually blundered here. Sludgy took the pawn. I think he knew it was a draw, but I think he didn't see that Queen H7 was winning. And I think he basically saw he was really far away from the key squares. He didn't see this King E6 idea. Yeah, but Queen A7 here wins. After King E8, there's still some tricks here. H6, for example, is very tricky because now King D6 is met with a check. Queen takes is met with promotion. King E6 is met with an under promotion that wins the queen. So this is still a bit tricky. And here there are three winning moves, but the easiest is just keep the usual maneuver of pinning. King F3, you mean King C6? King C6 has a problem. King C6 is nice because if he promotes, you have the Queen D7 checkmate. The problem is he goes King E7. And then the best is to repeat the position. So yeah, the best way here to make progress is, and then I win anyway. Yeah, but eventually you will have to play the Queen G6 idea. Queen G6, King E7, and now Queen D6 check. I think he showed this line in the stream. Queen D6 check forcing King E8, and now King E6, walking into our key square without allowing a knight fork from F8. And of course this is a win. And okay, up to here, this was queen versus pawn. As usual, I'm gonna share the study. I'm gonna make it public and share it with you. The title of the study is Queen versus Pawn, obviously. I've added some lines during the stream, so I hope it's not very messy. And I hope you enjoy it. And I think it's time to move on to some King of the Hill. Let's start the King of the Hill week. Orcito, Pepe, thanks for the study from earlier today. Which study? I don't know which study are you referring to, but you're welcome, I guess. Okay, so King of the Hill, guys. I'm gonna also the knight versus pawn. Oh, did I share it with you? Or my memory is so bad. All these studies are published. All the studies we do on the stream. Study, we have knight versus pawn, yeah. Oh, Joey, we need to practice. Okay, that's not the one I wanted to study. Endgames. There you have. So in this study, Endgames from Zero to Hero, we have an introduction, very basic, from scratch, from the beginning of Endgames, and from there I'm linking all these studies we've been creating. So this one that I just added on Queen versus Pawn, it's not linked yet, but it will be during the week. Now I'm gonna change the title of the stream. Title King of the Hill week starts now on chess.org, and it's time to create an arena. Let the fun begin. Create new tournament. So it's 420. I'm gonna make it 40 minutes instead of 45, or 35 minutes. Let's say 35 minutes. Clock initial time for, as usual, starting in 2 minutes. No password. Create. No! 1 second, guys. 1 second. Withdraw. Return to tournaments page. If you find that tournament, don't join. I did rate it by mistake. That's a very specific amount of time. Yeah. Because I know it's 40 minutes to 5 p.m. So let's see if I do it right now. I think I also didn't select King of the Hill the previous time I created it, so I rushed it a bit. Okay, now we have it. Copy. There you have the link, guys. And I'm gonna spam it also on Discord. Oh, did I? I said 420. But it was really 420. Cefa is sad because the tournament is not rated. Hey, but Cefa, now you have used the new emotes. Did you know that? Oh, maybe. Oh, wait, maybe the emotes. Oh, the emotes are still under review. Maybe. I added new emotes, but yeah, only roar and water are there. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so maybe during the week. How many new ones are there? I filled the five slots. So we have the water. We have RAR, and then we have Cuartillo, which was for tier 2 and now it's on tier 1. And then I added I published it on updates.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
yes.
3, 2,
1, 0. Starting. Good luck and have fun, guys. So I did the Oh My Clock emote and the Uno Mas emote. Hey Kuro! Oh My Clock and Uno Mas are the new emotes. And Cuartillo also, because most people couldn't use it. Yes, Uno Mas. Knight d7 would have won a piece, Kuro. What's that game mode about? This is King of the Hill, Ingle. Those are the rules there. If you want to join the tournament, that's the link. Basically, if the king ever gets to one of the central squares, you win. You win the game. So I hope to do that at some point of this game. For example, my king wants to go to f6. and e5 eventually. For example, here. And now take here. Rook takes, obviously. Are there checkmates valid in this variant? Yes, but basically the variant is the usual rules apply. Just you have that extra rule. I think I have to take it because otherwise I'm busted. I think queen f7 is not checkmate yet, so I hope I can go here. Joey says I'm beating Pepe, but I'm playing Kuro. I'm not playing you, Joey. How are you beating me? I mean, I'm just playing my first game, so I'm on 0 points, obviously. Okay, let's attack myself a bit, if I can. So it's the same as 3 check. You have some rules, some, I mean, the regular chess rules, and additionally, if you bring your king to the center, you win. It's an additional rule. In 3 check, it's the additional rule that if you do 3 checks, you win. And sometimes, of course, you get checkmated because look at me, I'm bringing my king closer to my opponent's queen. So yeah, sometimes you get checkmated, but trying too hard. Now Kuro has to be careful after this move, or maybe not. We'll see. I think I misplayed it. I think I should have just kept queens and my attack was strong. So yeah, I probably misplayed this a bit. Gonna, or maybe I'm winning. Or maybe I'm winning. Yeah, this looks winning. C5 winning. C5 might have been winning a while back. I'm not very good in King of the Hill, to be honest. I usually play like blocking the center and then play regular chess. I'm not really good at these tactics where you can bring the king to the center. I hope to be able to maybe do King of the Hill tactics if there are such on chess variants. Good game, Kudo. GG. I think there's the option of King of the Hill in chess variants training. So during this week we might do some King of the Hill tactics. Oh, look at that! First place Pepelu, second place Joanna, third place Karmar, and then Ingol Sefa. That's a sexy ranking situation. Now who's over who, Joey? Why are we playing this then if you're not good at it? Because I'm doing one variant every week and people vote on the Discord. And I mean, I'm not so bad. I just never studied it. But I'm not so bad because it's similar to chess. I think I have a cap of top 50 on lead chess on King of the Hill right now. So I might not be as bad as I can tell I am. But yeah, but I didn't ever study openings or tactics or anything. So I hope to improve this week. No, Kuro. 3 check wasn't. We didn't have that yet. So far, we've had Crazy House, Chess 960, and now King of the Hill. Oof, this player is creating some problems. I'm gonna do a horrible move c3. And let's keep doing horrible moves if I can. Not sure what I'm doing. I might just castle. I'm ranked 49 in only chess. Nice. So I have the top 50 cap. Thank goodness this is casual. Hey Pepe, is it okay to ask some questions about the Pomodoro technique? Do you want to focus on chess? You can ask, and I might answer or not. It's okay. It's okay. Yes, it's okay. But I'm berserking here, so I might. At some points, I might just focus too much on the board. Basically, I want to know how it works. Then, when you pair programming, for example, working with another person, you just tell them that you're working in 25 minutes. Like if you do it and that person doesn't. Oh, that's interesting. I never done pair programming with someone who does not use Pomodoro technique. I guess I understand you might have a problem there. I mean, I can do Pomodoro with someone, but I wouldn't understand. Either both of you do it, or you don't. I mean, I don't know. Would anyone refuse the 5-minute breaks? Yes, I know people who don't like that. I've worked with many designers, and I've seen a tendency that for designers it works much better to have longer periods of work. Like, for example, I've worked with designers who had pomodoros of 40 or 45 minutes instead of 25. Oh, bummer. I didn't expect that move. I'm under severe pressure in this game. Time pressure. Now my oh my clock emote still not approved, but this would be a good occasion to use it. I don't mind Warnaki, but I'm a bit busy here. Oh, you don't see my time. Okay, okay. Sorry, sorry. Oh, thanks for pointing that out. Where is it? Let me resign. Sorry. Let me resign. Good game, terrible, terrible, whatever. Aha, there you have my time. Sorry, sorry about that. Oh, we had a raid there. Moscatel raiding with a party of 8. Hey, welcome, raiders. How's your stream? Lol. Joey on top of me again. I have the feeling some of the games the players are playing in the tournament are much shorter than my games, even though I'm berserking. But some people already played 3 games. I don't remember the last time I streamed. It was needed. Cool. Cool. Hey, just good again. I might repeat the same f5 e6 business. This time I'll try not to hang my pieces like I did before. I see a problem. That problem. But you could do it before taking the knight, couldn't you? Thing is, maybe I had bishop takes e5 in this position. I thought I was forced to take the bishop. Okay, good game, Kuro. Or can I keep playing? Okay, let's keep playing for a move for 2. That was strange. RSK shares, thanks for the follow. Wow, 96, unexpected. So you want to take on b7, go to c5? What? What was that? Bishop h4, very strange move. But I was threatening rook g3. I start liking my position now. Thankfully I didn't resign after queen h5 check. I was so close to hitting the button. I see an idea for white. It loses a piece, but it prevents my threats. Okay, that is also another idea, that loses the piece and prevents my threats. Yeah. Okay, see you, Moscatel. Thanks for the raid. Can I not lose on time? I'm so stupid. Did you berserk, Joey? Oof. That's new. Good job, Kuro. Was that a moment where your rook on h1 not mate? No. But instead of the check, I had to go rook back before. You could have mated him with rook h1. No, I couldn't. Yeah, you played g3. Yeah, exactly. Karmar. Am I blacking every game? Or is it just me? I think I have the feeling I'm being black a lot of times in this arena. It's a bit weird. I hope you don't win like that, Karmar. What do I have to say about what game? What game are you talking about, guys? GG Karmar. A game I played, that one, the one asked your permission. Ah, okay. Yeah, no, I cannot look at the game right now. Sorry. GG Karmar. Good night, Bush. Thank you. Your plan didn't work, Karmar. No. That's the problem. King of the Hill. Many times you get checkmated. And now I play against this question mark guy who is very strong and he's crashing the field. But at least I'm white. Okay, let's try this time to take and see what happens. Bring pieces out, cannot be bad. He just crushed you, Joy? This guy? Oh. Then I'll play King E2. He plays very solid. He did this doubling knights thing the previous game as well. He's very good, as far as I can tell. It's a bit annoying to have a strong player with a 1500 rating. It's very confusing. Good. Good. I think people have a special pleasure in being in front of me in the tournament. Right, Karmar? So knight takes... Ah, he's gonna play f5. Okay. No, he's preventing that. It's nice, says Joe. I'm not sure. Knight takes b6, king e3, rook a4, knight c4. Is that working? I think it is. I think my rook sack is sound, but we'll see. I really like these tactics that appear in King of the Hill. They're funny. I need to practice more. Problem is I'm gonna lose some time again, as usual. Whoa, he's gonna win immediately. If I didn't I didn't see that king coming so fast. You can do silly things you can't in other variants, like this I just did, losing on the spot. Let me resign. No, this guy is really strong. It's a pity I faced him twice already. I'm not even gonna make podium in this tournament. I don't think you can do a lot of silly things in King of the Hill. Yes, I've seen his 20 or 2100. But he plays good King of the Hill. I mean, good ideas, King of the Hill ideas. So I'm wondering why doesn't he have a rating? Like sacking in the middle? Yeah. But those sacrifices are very, I mean, normal. I mean, that's chess. In chess, you do that to fight for some squares in certain positions. Of course, not to bring your king to the center, but the kind of tactics are the same you would do in chess in other situations. So it's not so silly, I would say. But yeah, for example, the rook sack I did in the previous game, that was fun to find. But he saw easily. He saw it easily. Here I think I'm gonna do a piece sack because let's call it a piece sacrifice when I blundered a piece. No, I didn't. Huh. Joe is crashing you. Well done, my love. Need to play fast. It's only 2 minutes 40 seconds left in the arena and he has 2 minutes 30 seconds. If I want this game to count, I need to play fast. Wait, what? I could take with the king. Oh my goodness. My goodness. that? That was an annoying move. Now I think I should resign in this position. But again, I might be missing something because I'm so blind lately. Expected queen takes. I see your point. That is your point. It's a very good point. I'm losing again. Wait, what? No, that was not expected. Queen takes e4 was expected. Okay, so if my opponent wants, the game will not count because it's 30 seconds left in the arena. I think I should be winning here. 20 seconds left. And you will be on top because this game will not count, Joey. Well done. Oh, bummer, I had such a horrible tournament. King of the Hill is too much for my brain. I really need this week to study, to do tactics and maybe even some theory. Cool, 5 p.m. exactly. Well done, guys. Well done, guys. Congratulations. I know, Joey, it's time for you to go, and it's time for me to go also. Thank you, everyone, for taking part in the arena. Officially starting the King of the Hill week. Congratulations to Terrible Scandinav. See you, Joey. And congratulations to Chescuro and Joey for that podium. That's sexy, guys. Karmar in fourth place. Well done. And see you tomorrow, guys. Probably. I'm still not sure about the schedule for this week because I think I need some rest. So I might be 1 day off, 1 or 2 days without streaming. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Kuro, don't joke with that. Okay, who can we raid? Who can we raid? What was that? RKDK Chess is now following. Okay, good night, Pepe. Yeah, I'm going to bed too. Have a good night, guys. Yes, Karmar, I streamed too much lately, and yesterday it was painfully long. Raid Sludgy. Sludgy's on? Okay, perfect. Perfect raid we have there. Okay, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Cool, Swang Funk. Cool. We're here to learn. Good night, Jim. Good night, Sefa.